tell me a little bit about yourself, what your
Okay.
background is.
So my background, I originally went to school in Hastings, Nebraska. I graduated in psychology. I worked in that a little bit of time. Found out, psychology was cool, but it wasn't something I wanted to be buried in. So just so happened to end up meeting my baby's mom, Korean lady, and end up going in business with her uncle. Bought a bunch. We got some stores and sold clothes, and I learned how to run businesses by going to shop for clothes across the nation and going to the art shows and going to the magic shows, to learn how to buy clothes. I actually got to meet Jay-Z and Puffy when they first were starting their brands. And, Russell Simmons, I was actually at the table with these guys chilling because I was buying their clothes, and they actually had a young black man who was in the game. So I was kind of like the front man for the business, which made it really, really lucrative here in Colorado. And then I got into real estate. Flip quite a few houses out there. We made some money, and then of course the market fell apart. Back in the day, I lost a lot of money on that, and went into some other industries. Went into trucking. I'm in a trucking company for a few years. Ended up selling that industries here in Colorado. The whole time I'm doing all my, my work from flipping houses, because I really did a lot of flipping houses and buying buildings and stuff like that. The last few years, my buddy, his name is Justin, has been watching me do these business transactions, buying the buildings, flipping houses, and doing it in different states. I was promoted to CFO of this company. It was crazy because they see me doing all these investments. They're very influential. They got a lot, a lot going on. Like, money is easy for these people to come by. It's not an issue. So they're like, this last year and a half, they've been seeing me like get really serious about financial legacy, trying to find stability in my life. And, I've looked into some other programs and stuff like that. And, I landed with you guys on the strength that, honestly, I seen a black man's face. And I said, let me do my research and see really what he's going for, because he looks like me. And let me just see, like, honestly. So I started digging in about 6 months ago, maybe 5 months ago, real tough on ATN and some of the things you guys have going on. I looked at some other companies, and I just decided to come with you guys because what they're looking for me to do in the long run is to build wealth. I want to build wealth and legacy for more than just me. And I have access to money, in the summer to build legacy, to help build this stuff. And how it works is we'll be getting funded from funders for the next like 3 years, 3 to 5 years. We get funded. Each year we get about, well, this year we're going to get quite a bit more, but last year we got like 600,000. And with the 600,000, we're looking like we need to invest some of this money to give us a passive income for the business to be successful.
Yeah.
So I've been looking for, that is my play. So I took my own money to invest in this. I decided to say, okay, I'm gonna take a gamble, take my own money, invest in this, and see, is this something that I could make happen for hundreds of people? Is this possible? Can this be sustainable? And so, of course, nobody wants to take this risk. Nobody's willing to put this money up and say, well, let me just see.
Right.
If the company wasn't willing to do it, I try to go half with the company, and they were like, they said after I finished getting started, hey, we'll give you 10,000 to put in. I'm like, nah, it's too late now. I'll just do it myself, and we'll just see how it is. There's no sense of putting anything else in if you didn't come in at the beginning.
Yeah.
But at least now I'll be able to tell you exactly how this works, Yeah. So that's where I've been going with this, is just trying to figure out exactly how it works, what steps to take, because I'm seeing now, that there's different levels of this from talking to Julio. And, man, I'm just trying to figure out a way, man.
For you, then, your motivation for making passive income is just to make sure that the money that you do have continues to grow.
That's it, man. And honestly, that's really what it is. What I want to be, this is my ideal, Aaron. I want to be able to bring in the employees, because I know there's no real thing. 401ks it's just a thing of the past. The 401k, trying to do it that way, that's just not America anymore. I mean, you can try it, but from what I'm seeing, from all the older people I'm seeing retire, they got to still work, to live the lifestyle they was living before they retired. And maybe you can, lead me down the path, because it's not just for me. I just got promoted to that CFO position, and I wasn't expecting this, Aaron.
Yeah.
I was not expecting this at all. I was making great money on my own, doing my own thing. They see me traveling well. They see me doing a lot of stuff. They're teachers, and they like, man, how do you live like this? And so I'm like, investments, man. I mean, I'll make $10,000 and I'll take a trip.
That's amazing. So for you, then, I mean, you have a few different projects that you're working on, and it sounds like they're really, starting to take off. You got your girl that's, studying and figuring things out on how to make things better for not only, your guys' circumstances, but your guys' community. So, and that's an inspiration. So, I mean, I'm loving it. So for you, then, again, it sounds like this is bigger than just you. Bigger than your family.
I'm going to take the risk. Honestly, I swear to God, so many people told me don't do this. So many people was like, you're going to get ripped off. It's a pyramid scheme. It's this, it's that, it's this. And I told myself, you know what? They said that about real estate. When I went into real estate, they said that about the trucking. They said that about the clothing. Everyone always had the naysayers. And so to me, the naysayer is just somebody that don't want to put their money where their mouth is and just ain't ready to try to test us. I mean, we live in America. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You got to figure out your niche in this game. And yes, you might have to spend some money to figure things out. That's this thing. And I told it to a really wealthy white man. And he said, oh, you finally figured this about securities? I was like, oh, I had no idea. He's like, yeah, that's been around forever. The fact that they're using algorithms to do the trading at a small amount, that's actually realistic. And it was only one person who's actually was like, that's realistic, where the rest was like that. My own accountant, who's very well trained.
So let me ask you that. So this was a wealthy individual that said, "Oh wow, that actually does make sense. You actually can, make capital from that." And then everybody else, what was their financial circumstance?
They didn't have the money, or they had the money, but not, I have exactly this or exactly that. Where I was like, you know what, I got a plan, keep in relationship with Julio, learn more, start seeing how the percentages actually really work. And then, because at the end of the day, if it worked, it's my first month in, and basically I'm seeing that it does actually work. I'm not knocking it at all. I definitely see it work.
So it sounds like a lot of the work outside of ATN, correct me if I'm wrong, outside of ATN is a little bit more of earned income. It's not so much passive at this point.
Everything's earned. This is
so have you tried any other passive income opportunity?
Well, we looked into a few. I actually looked into e-commerce. I looked into Etsy. I looked into Amazon. Looked into Airbnb automation. Everybody kept telling me the wrong things. The conversation just didn't fall right. I'm not into 12 months waiting on something. 6 months, and you might know. We build this. If I'm gonna give you $50,000 up front, I'm damnly sure ain't waiting 12 months to see some type of profit. That just sounds like a stupid situation for anybody. You know what I mean? So for me to say, oh, I want a store, but then I got to sell all this shit, and you tell me that, my first month I sell $10,000 in product, but I only make $200. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, so I realized after doing my research. So what I did with that one is I actually contacted people because there's so many people that do that shit. Yeah. So I reached out to those people that's like, say for instance, I go on Amazon, I'll see a store, I'll research them, and I'll get in touch with them and ask them, are you happy with it? And I looked at the ones that just got started. A lot of people wasn't.
Yeah. Wow.
A lot of people wasn't.
That's amazing. So your due diligence is really legit. So how did you hear about us? What
I'm gonna tell you what happened, man. I was looking to do NERP. It was called NERP. And I was looking to do a NERP. I told your buddy about this, and they were just blowing advertisement all over the internet everywhere. And then like an ad of yours snuck in there straight up with the same idea. So I started following both you and the NERP companies, the platform. And I started looking into, what your platform was and what their platform was. And their platform's a little more aggressive. For me to be learning something like this, it was a little more aggressive, and I just kind of, from the vibe, from the conversation, guy was professional. He had everything was good, but I had other people at that time who was looking to be part of this with me. It was a little higher as far as percentages, and that's probably why I didn't go with them. I'm thinking, okay, it just sounds like it's just not all what it says it's going to be. And so when I started working with you guys, I kind of understood, oh, okay, it may be that percentage with the split with the broker. You see what I'm saying? So I started realizing that, okay, we split this with the broker a certain way. And that's when I was like, all right, so this business made more sense to me, the split with the broker, because it's able to be manipulated over time. Yeah. Where the split can be different with the broker. So that's what I kind of buried myself in, is, okay, all the logistics in the beginning is fine, but I needed to find out in the middle of this, how does it actually work when a person's actively using it, and they can understand where the money is going, why they're making this kind of money, and how would I explain to somebody if I'm asking them to be an investor in this, or I'm going to invest money on behalf of them so they'll understand it. So I've been asking Julio a lot of questions that make me, like, I'll say, Julio, what is this? What is, like, for instance, the realized PL versus the number in the black? I was like, okay, so which one do I explain to them? He's like, and he explained it to me, broke it down. The number in the green is going to fluctuate and change. You're going to see the split out of the difference between the balance and the PL. You'll see the split as far as what goes over to the, to the net, to the fees. Yep. So, I mean, I'm just now starting to understand that piece. And I'm like, okay. And each week I meet with two other people, and I explain what I've learned so far. Oh yeah. So it's you're learning it yourself, so you can not only explain it to others, but help others as well. What you said was you ran into us 6+ months ago. You did your due diligence. I watched you for a while, man. I watched you build up your clientele, and I watched who the people were, who you were talking to. I watched that. And what I seen was what I wanted to see, which wasn't just white men. I seen women, I seen black men, I seen a lot of black men actually. And I was looking at that, and I seen normal looking people, not like actors or people that look like they wasn't just too perfect into being a picture and shit like that. Sometimes you're like, that shit just don't make no sense. Realistically. Yeah. And then I seen when you was interviewing a couple people, I was watching the interviews, and I was paying attention more or less to how they were, how they felt about it, and just seeing that, okay, I got the other. I did this with the same other companies too. The only difference was with them is there was a piece that it seemed like there was a disconnect here with the people beginning. So here I begin, but everyone that was talking was here already, and I couldn't understand, like, okay, how, and the time frame wasn't given to me, how long it took them to get there, except through one person that I talked to. But the information from the information from the person that started having a lot of success to the person beginning, there was no enough information in between there to help me see the vision without asking questions and them still explaining the same thing over and over.
Mm-hmm.
I still think they might have the same product. I just think maybe the person couldn't answer the questions correctly, because I had 3 different people. I had a data analyst, and then I had a skeptic and myself who were very, very articulate.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the questions they were asking, the guy said, man, I'm probably gonna have to get a tech guy on the phone to answer some of these questions, because their questions was about the algorithms and how the algorithms work and stuff like that. And with your questions, those questions were answered with Julio, because that's the first thing I want to know is, Julio, is this a get quick rich scheme, but is it pyramid built, and is there a way that this can fall apart?
Yeah.
Said,
So
no.
how was that set up with Julio?
Okay, so in the beginning, I was a little anxious. So it got, we got, Julio busy, man, very busy. I could see that, but swamped. He was able to get me in and get me set up. So it wasn't a bad process at all. It was just when I was anxious, and I finally got set up. And it happened on a Friday, so we couldn't do nothing until Monday or Tuesday.
Right.
And then that week came again, and so I was like, oh shit. So but once we got it going, and I thought it was cool. And Julio's been amazing, man. Julio has really been like, I'll text Julio at 12 at night, say, man, you think tomorrow we can hop on a call and just answer some questions? And he'll be like, yeah. Because of my questions, they keep coming from people. So the accountant was the main one. My accountant was the main one. Like, I had explained it to him like this. I said, listen, if I was to go sign on with a broker, I'd pay the broker fees to trade every trade still anyway. I said, so look at it like this. Look at it like this. We still trade broker fees, but we don't have to guess on the trades. And we're going to make money with another person making the money. Instead of us losing the money, we'll see a growth in money. Now, I said, now that to me is me not having to go sit down at a computer.
That sounds passive to you.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said, I got to go sit down at the computer, look at stocks and pick shit and hope it make. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something that happens on its own, and I need it to work for other people. And I'm not looking for it to get us rich in a year or two. I'm looking for people to actually leave it there and see the stability of it and go, oh, this is actually growing for me.
Because your goal, I mean, it matters what your goal is, right? Generational wealth, legacy. And you mentioned in terms of, it's not a get rich quick scheme. It's something for you to like build off of and help other people to, really see benefits from. And so for me, what it sounds like, Kirk, is that like, not only are you like, again, about your community, but it's such a longer play for you, like so strategic in what you're doing, because like you're not just interested in the right this moment. It's like, what could I build off of? Even with your communication with NERP, you're like, I'm looking at this for like a long-term business relationship, and like, do I see us working well together?
There you go,
build
man.
There.
That's truly what it is. And they're trusting me, man, with millions of dollars. They've literally been like, the meeting was about this. We're asking for 25 million to start. They're asking me, Kirk, where do we start with these investments? The biggest thing was they wanted me to make sure I talk to you. They're like, Kirk, if you can't never talk to him, then we probably won't go forward with this, because we need to know that you're actually able to talk to this guy who's putting this together, and it's just not some scheme. And I said, this was 6 months ago. So I was like, okay, no problem at all. So I didn't bring it back. I haven't brought it back to them until this month when I signed up. And I started talking to NERP, and I only brought 2 people in because I needed them to do analyticals and hear everything that I was missing. And then with you guys, I didn't need them. I finally came to this. I was like, oh shit, I know this. I told your guy, man, I know what I'm doing. I told your guy who signed me up, I said, it's gonna be the easiest thing you ever signed up. Just get me going. Send me the paperwork. I'm gonna sign it. He was like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay. He's like, I was like, I did my research already. You don't have to sell me anything. I don't really need to see the numbers. Straight up. I was like, I know what I'm doing. And since then, I've been pretty much right what I've been seeing. I mean, I know what I'm doing. Me and Julio have been talking. We've been making sure the pieces are going. And so I keep taking the information back to the team and like, how do you guys feel about this? Like I said right now, we were talking about all these things. So I'm like, there's different ways to make this happen for different caliber of people. So there's ways we can do this and make it successful. My only question was to you, Aaron, and this is something that I have to ask, is this for you? Is this going to be longevity, 10, 15, 20 years? Is this something that you want to keep moving forward? Or is this something to change into real estate, switch this over and go into some other field? Because I want to get on board and kind of like build this into something with you, because once in Colorado, let me back up. In Colorado, there's a lot of fucking money. It's a lot of money sitting around here where people just got to see somebody like me take this step. Right. But once I take this step and we 5 months in, I can show them this is what I've done. It's 5 months of work. This is me not doing anything. They will jump on this so fast. They won't get on it now because it's the beginning. Everybody got to see some guinea pig, test the shit out. But every time I've ever done this in my life, Aaron, I have been successful as hell. I've been the one to go out in here and test these waters and figure some shit out. That's why I was so quick to do this one, because I was like, oh, they have no idea. This guy's talking about passive income. He's not overselling. You're not overselling anything. You strictly kept it the passive, and you said what you said in the first week. You'll see some returns. That's what I said. Okay, I don't care if the returns are 50 cents. If you're telling me I'm going to see returns passively over time, and it's a compound interest thing, and I don't have to touch this, my mind starts working on a whole different level. A whole different level. And I was going to ask you, this is where I got to ask you this question, Aaron. Can you guys handle, big money? Like, you know, is this the platform for it? Is
Yeah.
this the platform for millions? Like 300. So my first investment this summer with you guys, I want it to be between 2 and 300,000 July. If everything goes correctly, that's what I'm asking these people to give me to test the market.
Sure.
It's 200,000. You said you guys are going into other things, man. I just kind of want to be, I kind of want to be able to go those places with you guys, man. Like, yeah, it's kind of bigger than, as a CFO, I'm finding that I better figure this out with companies instead of me trying to figure it out on my own and go into business with, like, so for instance, I'm going into business with a hotel. I've talked to who will give me, since I've always rented from this hotel for my business meetings, they've actually made it to where they'll give me discounts here in Colorado when people come and visit to do business with me. And I'm also getting a stake in some another business where I can hold meetings at their office. So I'm like not networking all these things into play to make this all be into fruition. So when I am talking to a skeptic, I can show them, well, this is who it is. If you need to talk with him, you want to invest 300,000, I can let you talk to the owner. It's not some kind of scheme. Talk to the owner. You can ask some questions and you can figure this out if it's something you want to do. But I want them to understand, like, hey, I'm representing my company, but I'm telling you about a company that I'm working with that I think you should get involved with. And I wanted to make sure I can get more involved with you to figure out what else can be done here, or if there's a need
taking advantage of, or what.
Yes, because I'm surprised I became a CFO. I didn't start this.
You came just like me. You started with psychology.
That's it, bro. That's it. And everyone's blown away at my skill level. And it's like all these things I've moved into, man. I've been successful, man. I own my own home in a very, very, very tough market. It's worth almost about 800,000. Never refinanced the house ever. So the money's always there. I make great money in all my businesses, you know, own dispensaries, still own the trash rights to all the dispensaries. So I pick up the trash every week from dispensaries and they pay me to empty their trash. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. $700 a week from every dispensary. I have a company that's up going, taking care of all that. So I'm like, dude, a black man to a venture capitalist area where we can actually play with money. And I can build a company, because I know you got these amazing. When Julio was telling me he was dealing with the Walmart, you know, he's trying to move into these different areas where you make it better than what it was before because you've seen it wasn't working.
Exactly.
So I'm hearing that going, see, that's because you can say, hey, the Walmart's not as big as this, but we can still do Walmart for some of your customers. Or you could change the game and say, hey, man, we're going to go over this way. So I'm looking at this like getting in bed.
Let me give you a bit of a background on me. So both of my parents have their doctorates. My dad was a pastor for 30 years in Cincinnati, and my mom is a teacher for still loves to teach. She's a professor at a college in Cincinnati. And so what her, like, you know, business acumen is in, well, a few different things, but she's an engineer by trade, as far as, like, you know, what her background is. And so, you know, her thing is all about improving processes. It's not about finding or like, you know, building the next big thing. It's about finding what the processes are currently and how do you improve upon it to make it a better experience. For me, like, that's just in me in that. So, you know, finding a Walmart where it's just like, oh, like, you know, normally it costs $50,000. It's like, well, wait, what if I was able to build this myself? Like, figure out how to, like, what are the components that are necessary for this to be built, and then there it is. So for me, I'm all about just improving processes that I'm learning about and figuring out, like, okay, well, how could I do it better? Who could I partner with that is already doing it at the highest level, and then going from there. So now going into the future and the, you know, the longevity of ATN, right? We're in our second year. We plan to be around for decades. I live by, like, you know, something that, like, you know, a lot of, like, quarterbacks would say, keep the main thing, right? So it just is like, just focus on the main thing, right? I do have real estate. I do have, you know, e-commerce. I do have other investments that are, you know, building, but I'm focused on ATN and the product improvement, the development, the partnerships. So, you know, and Julio said even before this conversation that he's like, you're gonna love this guy. You're gonna like this guy a lot, because, you know, you definitely, like, again, like you've illustrated in this call, you're a strategic thinker, you are an organizer, you are somebody who's like an executor. So that's, I liken myself to that, right? I'm the same. Yeah, that's the longevity. We plan to keep going. We plan to continue our partnerships. You know, in terms of, can we handle the capacity that you're talking about? Yeah, one of the traders that we work with, on a personal end, on his end, he turned 500,000 into $50 million in 13 months. You know, on his end, he you know, is somebody that, like, he was on a trip to South Africa. Like, he was, you know, big into e-commerce and made millions in e-commerce, eight figures in e-commerce. And you know, he wanted to learn how to trade. He went on a flight to South Africa, learned how to trade, made $250,000 on that flight. You know, so for him, like, he's somebody that works with high net worth individuals. He's big into working with high net worth individuals. So yeah, the capacity is definitely there. Cool. We're just getting started. And so yeah, this is.
And you got a hell of a team behind you. Just don't know it yet, bro. You just said something that made me get goosebumps, where you said you guys are always looking to improve something that's out there. That is what I'm trying to do with education. I
Yeah.
swear to you, I am trying to improve what's already here because it's not working to this fullest capacity. And I started in these schools and I couldn't get everyone to listen because of the bureaucracy.
Yeah.
We got so much money. I said, you know what, let's go build our own building. Let's go build our own building. Let's put the people in this building that we want to be in this building. Let's teach their kids. Let's make this about our building community. Let's screw all that. Let's go do this over here. Let's get this money.
Well, let me tell you how aligned we are on that. I have a program. It's called Finish for Free, and I haven't, because I'm keeping the main thing, right?
Right.
So Finish for Free has taken a bit of a backseat, but it's still working. My mom is still like really active with it. It's only like a year old or whatever. But the premise behind that is to help families send their kids to college and finish for free, right? And so what I did was my first 2-3 years of college, I racked up $30,000+ in debt, and kind of was spinning my wheels a little bit, changing majors and doing all this stuff. And then I landed with this company that offered tuition reimbursement. I didn't even know about tuition reimbursement or anything like that. But then it was like, okay, if you get an A in the class, then we'll pay 100%. If you get a B, 90%, C, 80%. I was like, hold up. So I graduated summa cum laude from Arizona State because they motivated because they motivated me in that way. Like, oh man, you guys are going to pay 100% if I get an A. Well, then I better get an A then. And so then, transitioned into wanting to get my master's, but I was like, well, I don't want to have to, pay out of pocket for that. And I was, I wanted to get into education because, like I said, my mom is in education and all that. And so I was applying for a couple of these companies, and I had two companies. One was a charter school in Arizona, and then one was Grand Canyon University. And then it was like, okay, well, with Grand Canyon, they were both paying the same. But the trajectory for Grand Canyon was higher. And I was like, okay, this is really cool. And then my mom was like, ask if they've got tuition reimbursement. I asked, and they were like, we'll pay you 100% for your master's degree, and we'll pay 100% for your spouse's or a dependent's bachelor's degree. I was like, oh,
what?
I was like, hold up. So I made it a goal. I was like, I can't leave here until I get my master's degree, or bachelor's degree. It's over, right?
Your wife can get her bachelor's for free?
For free, right? So either a spouse or a dependent, and we didn't have kids at the time, and we definitely didn't have no 18, all that. So it was that. It was just like, this incentive keeps people working hard, needing to perform in order to keep these benefits and everything. So I was just like, okay, so you can go to these work for these organizations, not only be paid, right, but then they're going to give you experience, which is education is extremely important, but your experience, they're going to turn you away because you don't have experience. So you take that off the table, you get experience while you're going to school, and then you're getting your college paid for, right? Then you're set up for no college debt afterwards. So then you can actually pay for a car cash or pay for a down payment.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's we're aligned.
I'm a coach for a basketball program. I started this basketball program after my son won state. We won rings. I got 3 championship rings at 2 different schools. Wow. So I'm really good. I'm a winner, man. I go after it. I started the basketball team, and this is why I do it. So kids can go to college for free, get out and have no debt. I literally, that's my slogan. I don't care. The pros ain't here. You may not go D1, but I promise you this, I will get you a scholarship if you're in my program, and you stay in that school, and you'll get your paperwork to get out, not owe no money. I've done this already for so many kids. Wow. So this is my mind. What you're saying right now is what I do with kids. I literally make sure kids don't take debt on in college. Every year I get at least 10 dudes in college for my basketball team. All with basketball. That's what I said when I was watching you. I got so many different vibes off this, and I was like, "This is him. I gotta work with this dude." I said it sounds crazy, but I told my girl, I'm like, "This is after all the time I was researching, she thought I was cheating and messing with girls." I'm always like,
those memes where it's like he probably out here cheating, and then they're like doing some crazy with their dudes or whatever.
Dude, all I've been doing is pushing buttons on this damn computer, trying to figure out how we gonna make this motherfucking money for me and her to be rich later in life. And I'm like, no, it ain't got nothing to do with no damn girls, man. This is me trying to figure out the money. I'm 50 years old, man. I just turned 50 this summer. I'm looking to change the world. I'm looking to change my life. I'm looking to change whatever you got. I might can make it better in the long run. I got so many different influences, so many pieces. I just need to meet this guy and let him know what my vision is. If he ever needs anything, I'm here. I just want to make sure that you can help guide this situation, because the big money, I need a bigger player in the game. That's where, like you said, your guy you talking about, those are going to be the people that I have to connect with this money when it comes, because I could set up the 13,000s and them all day long. I'm gonna have for the little people, the people that's under us. But I need to grow the money up here to make sure I can keep these little people happy. Right. So we're gonna have investment terms of we'll have $500,000 to invest. We'll have $1 million to invest. I just had to make sure the strategy that you have a strategy for us, because this is who I need to come to for this strategy. Julio's amazing. But with this strategy coming in the summer, it needs to be more like Aaron build out, like, okay, Kirk, how much are you exactly coming with? Okay, 300,000, 500,000, 100,000, and I'll have that number for sure. I know for sure, Aaron, 6 figures on the table with 6 figures for sure. Yeah, I know it's for sure. I have 6 figures on my own right now. I'm waiting to do that. to build the rapport with you guys. But I really want to jump. And this is a piece of advice I needed from you. Dude, this is amazing. I mean, I'm just want to let you know, man, my girl cried when I told her about this. She was so happy. She was like, man, I was like, it's going to be I was like, I know, because we've been fixing and flipping houses. And as we've been doing it, the money's just getting less and less. I have a bunch of another things. I'm part of a group of guys who, when we see something, we'll go in at it. I haven't brought this to them yet. I just don't think they're ready for this yet because everything they do is old school, physical.
I can understand.
Brick and mortars. So I'm waiting.
So based off of what you've experienced so far, like how likely would you be to recommend to us, like when things, kept going?
Dude, this is. I'm trying to build a future with you guys, man. I really honestly want to build a future with you. I'm going to talk you guys up. I'm going to introduce all my people to this once I can show them something, because I take the computer everywhere, man. And I'm showing people now, hey man, look, there's a $400 increase since I started 10 days ago. 10 trading days. Yeah. I'm like, look at this. Like, pay attention. I want everybody to start their wheels to turn.
It's like again, you're like planting seeds. Like, so I already know why you're a championship coach.
Okay.
It all makes sense. And then when you were talking earlier about like the enrichment, one of the things that my parents did for me was expose me to so many different cultures, so many different, ways of life. So put me in private schools, put our whole family through private school and things like that. So like it makes a huge difference, that exposure. So I know you already know that. So for you then, why would maybe somebody who's listening right now, why should they actually take action?
I would tell you the reason I think people should take action with this, honestly, Aaron, is because if you literally have the money sitting in the bank and you're paying, even if you're paying $12 a month fees, you're still losing money. You're not gaining any type of kind of money on that money. And that money, honestly, when my guy told me that he had $30,000 to his name and he's married and that's all they have. And I said, I felt bad when I asked him to do the investment. So I said, you know what, in order for me to make this sound right to people, I got to make sure it sounds to their level. I have to bring it down to their level to make it be understandable, because up in my clouds, it's scary to them.
Yeah.
Scary to them. This guy's crazy. No, I'm not. I've been doing this for a while. I understand the ins and outs. So my biggest thing, man, is trying to make sure that the people around us, the people with me, can learn to be able to take care of themselves. There's too many situations that Aaron, I'll just tell you, in the last one, I did real estate before, I was the only one in my crew with money. It fucking sucked. Every time I wanted to do something big, I had to pay for everybody. I want to take a trip, I got to pay for people. They didn't have the money to go. They might can get there. It was just, and I told myself, man, I don't want to do that ever again, because it didn't feel right. So now I got to make everybody around me start seeing like, hey, it's time for y'all to stop holding y'all's hand and everybody start doing this shit right. Now,
and that's what I know, like people like LeBron, they do, right? And it's the people around him are like, they want to be better. And that's probably why they're still around him, because they wanted to get off their payroll. I was listening to Rich Paul the other day. He was like, I was making $50,000 a year. I wanted to get off that payroll so fast. I did not want him paying for me or anything. So you need people that are going to push themselves and like add value, bring revenue into the group, and not just be leeches, for lack of a better word. So what, in your opinion, then, this is actually the last question. What do you feel like makes ATN different?
The people. You and Julio, man, just down to earth. He listens. He wasn't trying to get me to move and coerce me a direction. He didn't do none of that. And neither did the guy who signed me up. I forgot his name, but he didn't do any of that either, man. He was very, hey, man, he was very open to it. He's like, hey, it kind of like he was new a little bit. And I'm like, I'll do this, but it was cool that everyone has been very open enough to make me not feel like there's a so when the accountant told me he's going to go and check into, he's like, I'm going to go check into this old Jewish man. I use him. I love him because whenever he's great what he does. So when he goes and checks into it, he hits me back and he goes, and instead of saying anything else, he says, interesting. After doing this research, interesting. I'll get back to you in a couple of weeks. Interesting. And I sent him an email with pictures. And I was like, here's a picture of this. Here's a picture of that. This is that. After Julio explained it to me, I was like, go do your research and tell me what you think. I'm like, I don't think this is something that's going to be hidden. So go figure it out. Tell me what you see. And he hasn't gotten back to me, which lets me know I'm right, because he's so quick to want to see me wrong. When I took the PPP money and they sent me like 70,000. He's like, you can't take that money because you just got 100-some thousand for your other business. So send it back. So I heard him send it back. You know what I'm saying? Thank God I did that, because yes, I'd have been caught up. So he's one of them dudes like, don't get in trouble. So I love him for keeping me safe. So if I had to tell anybody anything about ATN, I'd say the reason I would go with this company is because the people that's running it, that's behind it, are genuine. They're not selling you a dream. They're giving you the realness. And when he told me Julio kept it real and told me how you're moving around and doing certain things, you still working your ass off.
That's a fact.
You still working your ass off. You ain't chilling with the money. You ain't chilling. When I heard that, I said, see, so he ain't just on the Bahamas sitting on the beach. He said, hell no. Nah. He said, man, he's still working, trying to figure out some other ways to make this better. And I said, see, that's what I'm talking about. Because you just said it when you said your mom, and she taught you how to look at things and be better, man. I'm trying to do that exact same thing with education, where I'm like, this just got to be better. It just got to be a better way we do this. But yeah, man, I appreciate this conversation. I'm a good person to just know and talk to, and it sounds like you're about the same. So as you move forward, man, like I say, I'm gonna be making some moves. And the thing that was you answered the question is that you got some big people that can handle some big money. That's what I wanted to really wrap with you, Aaron. You have a person that's gonna be on board. I'm definitely gonna have you probably talk to other people who's gonna be giving me millions of dollars just because they'll see you online. I'm like, look, you see him here, and now you get to talk to them. That's gonna be one of the biggest selling points for anyone, because you can't get those other people on the phone. You don't know. I don't know who runs the NERC. I just they got thousands of so many employees that they mix up calling you. Like you get 12 calls from NERP in a day, and not the same
12 different people. Yeah.
I said, okay, that's what made me. I said, I don't know about y'all, man, because that's just too much, and you guys are too aggressive. So your company, man, I had one phone call. I was like, be ready, be prepared. And that was cool with me. Nobody bothered me after that. I didn't have nobody texting me and shit, asking, 10 people. No, so your platform is clean. It's really clean. And if I can say anything, man, keep doing it how you're doing it. Julio's really humble enough to make people see with anxiety to calm down. So he helped me. I got anxiety, PTSD, ADHD, all that shit. I can't sit down for 20 minutes, man. But he had me focused enough to go, okay, I like this guy. And I want to say, and then I seen you, and he's like, Kirk, he's even more informative. So I know you're a busy man. It's 11 o'clock. I appreciate your time, dude. But let me know if you need anything.
No, 100%.
This conversation.
That's what I was going to say. We're going to continue this conversation because it's too important not to.
Yes, definitely.
100%.
No, I can't wait to talk to my team, man. Thank you so much, man. And have a good weekend, man.
Yeah, you too. All right, enjoy.
Take care. All right,
you too.